and I'll lead us in the flag. So if you'll turn your phones down, we'll get started.
Dear Lord, we thank you so much for this day, this beautiful day that you've given us. We just ask, dear Lord, that you would bless this meeting that's going on today. Help us to do the work that would be desirable to you and things that would be best for our county, to take care of the business here, dear Lord. We also ask that you remember our first responders as they go out and protect and serve the community. Be with them, our military, our government. And we just ask, dear Lord, that you just bless this meeting. We ask this in your wonderful name, dear Lord.
Amen. Address the flag. I pledge allegiance to the flag of the United States of America and to the republic for which it stands, one nation, under God, indivisible, with liberty and justice for all. Okay, we've got a small crowd today, but that could be a good thing. Appreciate everybody coming out. Everybody had a chance to look at the agenda. Is there any changes?
I have one, Mr. Chairman, I forgot to put on about, we had the sign made that y'all wanted to be able to see the sign. And so we have that, and we'll show that to y'all before sometime.
Looks good, looks good.
Okay. Mr. Duke, anything?
Nothing, Mr. Chairman.
Yes, sir. Nothing.
Motion to approve the agenda with noted change.
Second.
We have a motion by Commissioner Thomas and a second by Commissioner Martin to approve the agenda with the noted change about the sign. Is there any more discussion? Hearing none, all in favor say aye.
Aye.
All opposed, same sign. Motion passed. Everyone had an opportunity to look at the consent agenda.
Yeah, motion to approve the consent agenda?
Second.
We have a motion by Commissioner Smith and a second by Commissioner Sharon Langford to approve the consent agenda as presented. Any discussion? Hearing none, all in favor say aye. Aye. All opposed, same sign. Motion passed. Now it's the time for public participation. Is there anybody would like to speak before the board at this time? You have an opportunity now and an opportunity at the end of the meeting. Seeing done, any constitutional officers? I see none. We'll go to the county administrator.
Yes, sir, Mr. Chairman, thank you. My agenda starts on item number 6, community development. What we're asking for is a position reclassification. As you know, we have, in our office, we have a building official, and we have 2 permit clerks up front, and what we would like to do is, currently one of our permit clerk positions is vacant. We would like to make that a building inspector position / also permit clerk, so they would be doing both jobs. And what this will allow for, it gives us someone other than Mr. Stockman to be able to do inspections. We'll also be able to add inspections on Friday as well. And this will be somebody who can be in the office who can also answer building questions that people may have, because they will be a licensed inspector. If that person is out doing inspections, then Mr. Stockman would be in the office. So we'd always have 2 people still in the office, but this way we would be able to, provide a better service to our citizens coming in who asking some questions, and we have the opportunity to combine these positions. The salary range for this position would be $55,000 to $65,000. The way that we would pay for this is by using the current position funds. Also a savings by reducing the use of universal engineering services. So sometimes when we get behind, or we've had recently where Mr. Stockman had several plan reviews, we were running behind, so we had to use universal as well, so we have to pay them. So we wouldn't have to use them for that. For instance, I look back out at last year's bill, our last budget cycle, we would have probably saved somewhere between $12,000 and $14,000 that year, just simply in what we had paid to Universal. Also, based on the current permitting and the receivables, we feel like this position can be covered within the current budget without asking for any additional money. A lot of things could change, that could change, but currently, based on where we're at and where we're going, it is getting very busy. So far this year, since October the 1st to through about lunch today, we've issued 526 permits. Now, not all of them are new homes, but permits, almost all permits takes about the same processing. You may not have as much review or from the building official and all. But we just looked at this as an opportunity. We feel like we can cover this within our budget. We also feel like it's a good opportunity to provide a better service to our citizens, as well as help us in the office a lot, cover, different types of, giving Mr. Stockman a better chance to review and those type of things.
Now, who's working, how are we doing it right now? How many people?
Right now, we only have 2 people. We have one position that's vacant right now.
Okay, so there's 2 people up front? And so
No, there's one person up front
But
and
there's
Mr. Stockman.
normally 2 people up front.
Normally 2 people up front.
And so the one lady's been doing everything by herself, or?
She's been trying to, but she's been having to come in on Saturdays and all too, to try to help catch up.
Sometimes with a woman up front, she don't know that answers to a lot of problems, and that's no fault of hers.
No, it's not, and that's
I was
one of the
fixing
reasons
to say, it'd be nice to have someone who is more knowledgeable, because some information has gotten out to people that was not correct, and I'm not blaming her or throwing her under the bus or anything else. She answered them to the best of her ability, but we had several people that's come back with information that was not quite correct, and it's messed them up. So it'd be great to have someone who's licensed and knows that position, to answer questions.
Well, I think like last week, we had to use Universal, I think it was 2 days, at least a minimum 2 days, so that Mr. Stockman could catch up on plan reviews, because people have to get their plans back. And, during that time, while he was in there, probably each day, he talked to 4 or 5 different people, just answering questions for them. And, that helps speed the process up. That helps them understand what they can and can't do. So, it's just a good opportunity for us to move that way at this time. And, like I said, it's not slowing down.
So you're down to one person in the
Yeah.
front there?
We
How long
only have
have we
one.
been down?
So you'll hire another person, and that person will be this position?
Yes, yes.
How
And
long
that's,
have we been down for? How many,
about 3 weeks.
about 3 weeks, we've been down to one person?
Yes, ma'am.
Well, here's what I'm hearing from the public, and this is one I have in mind to do. Instead of hiring another inspector, maybe look into, find out. I'm hearing that Columbia County, and I haven't verified this, I've talked to Bobby about it a little bit. I'm hearing Columbia County that if it's under $5,000, you don't need a permit. So if you wanna put a lean-to, and I'll give you a good example, the one that, Jay Anderson did, that we all got pictures of, we all got emails about, just put a lean-to on his barn to, I guess, park his boat or something under. He had to have it engineered, wind calculated, all that kind of stuff. Right now, I'm hearing that an engineer to do all that's about $1,500. So we got a $500 project that turns out to be a $2,000 or $2,500 project. To me, that hurts the hardware store, that hurts the building supply store, simply for the fact, if I'm gonna do a $500 lean-to and I got $500 and it costs me $2,500, then they just miss out on a sale of products, because I'm just not gonna do it. I'm not gonna put $2,500 on a lean-to to park my boat under, just to add on to the side of my shed. But I'm here in Columbia County, several people's told me that when they call for a permit, they just told them they didn't need one if it was under $5,000. Alachua County has, I understand from several people that, a smaller project, you don't need a permit. I don't know. But I'd like to verify that, and I'd like to lean more towards, if somebody has a project that's under $5,000, $10,000, whatever we want to put on it, that they're just allowed to do it, simply for the fact that a $500 project can be $2,500 or $3,000, and people just not gonna do it. The other thing is, Bobby has a shed out there and he don't want it no more. I'm just using him as an example. He don't use it no more, so he told me, hey, you tear it down, you can go put it up on your place. Make a nice lean-to for your boat or your tractor or whatever. And I can reuse it unless I buy a permit, get it wind calculated, get it inspected, do all the other stuff on it, and I gotta spend $2,500 to put his material up at my place. Well, if I'm not willing to do that, where does his material wind up? It winds up in the landfill, Or, you know, what do you do with it if nobody's willing to spend that kind of money to do it? I mean, I don't know if this is doable or not, but that's what I'd like to do. My number one complaint right now is, why do we have so many rules and regulations? My property, why can't I just put a lean-to on to park my boat under without having to spend all this money and jump through all these hoops? That's my number one issue.
Can I ask, maybe Gene can come up, cause I'm all for, I think we're all for eliminating, if it's not needed, not doing it. But I'm just wondering if state building code, is there anything we're requiring that state building code doesn't require?
So there is, being Stockman building official, there is requirements in there, and there is allowances. The deal that Columbia County is doing, I believe it's a $5,000 limit. And I can tell you, it's nothing but problems. You can do it if you want to, you better research it. But I'm all the time catching people from Columbia County over here doing stuff without permits. We got one on 138 where they're building an addition, 12 foot wide, the length of a double wide. Had the roof practically on, nothing there meets any kind of code. Practically fall down if a good wind come along, but at any rate, first thing they told me is none of them has a license because, even though the state exempts the requirement for 5,000 under, if you adopt it as a commission and you go through the process, still requires licensed contractors. None of these guys are licensed. They're running around all over Columbia County doing it without a license. The problem is everything you see is going to be under $5,000. Everybody's going to tell you, oh yeah, this is under 5,000.
Yeah, I was just gonna say that, the problem I see is how do you verify what a project costs?
Very difficult to believe.
So you still have to have a licensed contractor to do it, but you just don't have to pull a permit.
If you go through the process, and I'll have to look into it.
Yeah, I would like to see more about
You
this.
couldn't do an owner builder. In other words, you couldn't put it up yourself.
You should, but you gotta hire a licensed contractor to do it yourself. This guy, I don't wanna call his name, but he's already had code violations and problems. Now he's got unlicensed people building an addition on the back of his house out of Columbia County. They do it all the time over there. I don't think a lot of the counties got that. You can check. I don't know any other county anywhere around that's doing that other than Columbia.
Well, I would like to speak, maybe if you could speak to their, building official, Commissioner Langford, or.
Yeah,
Or
I
another
just,
commissioner, look more, and maybe table this, request today until we find out more about that.
I would just like to relieve people of the regulations, and it would relieve Gene of some of his job, some of his work, if he didn't have to go out and do every little thing. Like I said, if it's just a small little project, I just don't know why it costs so much to do it, and people's not gonna do it. If they're on a limited budget, they got $500 to do it with. If it's gonna wind up costing $2,500, they're not gonna do it. I mean, they're just not gonna
Yeah, I
do
would
it.
like for you to find out more about that and bring it back to us.
I'll be glad to. I mean, only thing I know to do is go to Columbia County and ask them how they do it. Gene might know how they do it. I don't know.
So I just know that
But I didn't even know there was such a thing until you've heard of it before too. I never knew that.
Yeah, if there is something in there, and I'll have to research it, and I don't know the restrictions, limitations, and they have to get Mr. Lane to look at it as well, but, I do know it's an enforcement nightmare, and it opens the door more for unlicensed people. These pole barns, you got unlicensed people running around, putting them up left and right, and I don't have to police it. I can't issue a permit to them. I can issue it to any owner. They hire somebody unlicensed and they get burned. It's between them and the state. If the state comes up on them and they're unlicensed, they're gonna open a case on them. But if it was my job to police it, I couldn't, because I just don't have enough here.
Could you make them maybe do an invoice on the materials they bought, just to prove that it's not a $10,000 project?
The only way I would know to do that, because an invoice is only gonna tell you half of it. It's gonna give you the material side, if it's all material.
You're gonna say that most of the materials were donated. Oh, I got this from my uncle, he had it at his house.
City of Newberry, they had, and it wasn't that, it was, I worked there for 3.5 years, but they based their permit fees on your contract cost. Well, everybody was building $100,000 houses when it was costing $200,000 to build them. So they had a set, I don't know if it was $130 per square foot or whatever, but they punch in your total square foot times 130, and that's what they base their permit fees on. You could do something similar, but it's gonna vary, you know, whether they're doing a shed or a pole
Yeah,
barn
yeah.
or
Well, you know,
addition.
a lean-to don't have four walls, it just has a roof of it. Now, if you're building a concrete block shelter or something, you know, four walls and a roof, electrical, plumbing, the whole 9 yards, that's a totally different story.
But you
I'm
have to
talking
have
about
the
minor
size per
stuff.
square foot to be able to
Yeah.
put a number to it.
But I think we need to see what this 5,000, what this pertains, is it for open sheds, closed, closed? So I would like, somebody to look into it if you don't mind.
I don't mind
And we
asking
could
them.
just table this, reclassification.
Nothing against you, Gene. I'm answering to the citizens out there. And when I have people come to me and complain, they wanna know why. And I've had people tell me, if it didn't cost so much, I'd do it. Well, if you let me add on, and that adds to my ad valorem taxes if I, improve my property, maybe not a whole lot if it's a $500 lean-to, but at the same time, if, let's just say it's a $5,000 project, that could add to my ad valorem taxes.
Yeah, well, that's another good point. You ain't gonna know it if they ain't got a permit. I can't tell you how many I drive by on a weekly basis. They've done this or done that. There ain't no permits. You don't know it's there. Damon don't know it's there. We talked about the ad valorem bringing the money in to be able to function, but it's,
don't get
you're
a
not
permit,
getting it
you
if you
don't
don't
know
get a
about it.
permit. That's something we'll talk about too when we get in our next zoning workshop about the exemption on sheds, 300 square foot and less. We got an exemption on that.
On what now?
Sheds, portable prefab sheds, if you move in, if it's under 300 square foot, you don't have to have a permit for the zoning ordinances. But you still gotta have zoning approval, so they go get zoning approval. If it says you put it 10 foot from the property line, who knows, cause there ain't no permit. They'll put it right up against the property line. It don't pop up on the property record until 4 or 5 years later when they do a blanket an area. So it all sounds good, but it leads to other complications. And none of that, regardless of what you do on that, doesn't change the fact that that may take a little bit of the workload off. It's not gonna fix the problem of somebody being in the office that can answer questions for the public, somebody that can run out for, I need my power back on, the tree took it out or whatever. I have to do it in a loop every day.
Yeah.
And don't get me wrong, I like my job. I keep doing what I'm doing. And I don't like asking for help. We're trying to make it better for the people that walk in the door. A, they'll have a Friday inspection that's not available, and B, it'll give somebody up front that can answer questions. I do a lot of my stuff over the phone between, each job, and, I can keep doing that, and we keep doing what we do, and it's just something we were talking about to maybe make it
Gene,
a little more.
how many, of the permits are under 500, or under 5,000? I mean, just percentage wise.
Well, something like Tommy's talking about,
Yeah.
but,
Just roughly.
Jay Anderson?
Anderson, yeah. So he just come in and got his stuff done. We've had a few, little porches and stuff, storm damage, but the storm damage, we give them free permits on that, but we still go out and inspect it. Probably had a couple of them that would have fell into that. Not a lot of
But you're
them.
saying it's a small percentage of the workload.
It's less than
So
1%.
you're still gonna have the same, that was my question, is it really gonna reduce your load? We still need this position?
Right, yeah, that's not gonna change anything. What Mr. Linkler's talking about is not gonna change
This.
this
And I don't have a problem with what Bobby's trying to do here and you're trying to do. We gotta have another position anyway. And if he can help you out in some kind of way, we justifying it by the permits and by the salary that's already there. I don't have a problem with what he's doing. I just wanna lean more towards the direction that, is there something we can do that will cause these people, less headache and less aggravation when they go to do something? And can we help the hardware stores and the building thing sell more stuff if guy will go down there and do it? He's got $500, but you don't have $2,500. And usually when you're working with an engineer, you gotta wait on them, you gotta mail this, you gotta do this, you gotta do, it's a process to go through. You know all about it.
Yeah.
I just wanna give the people some relief on some of our rules and regulations. To hire this position, I don't have a problem with that. If there's a need there, if we're gonna hire another person that would be better qualified to answer the questions, I'm all for that. If we have to pay them a little bit more, we can justify that by the way we got it.
It sounds
I'm
like
not against that.
what you're saying, though, it's gonna be budget neutral at least, because
It's not gonna come out of general, it's gonna come out of their budget.
No,
Yeah.
it's gonna come out of what we pay Universal and what we pay the position already.
Yeah, and I don't have a problem with that. I just want us to, and I'll do some research, and maybe me and Gene will sit down and talk, and we can go over some things and look at some changes and maybe make a recommendation to the board.
We got a workshop coming up on that kind of stuff again.
So the workshop that I know of coming up is another zoning workshop, and, there's several things on there that would be a zoning that would be.
We actually don't have any zoning workshop scheduled. They pretty much gave us the direction, so it'll probably just be in a meeting, to bring back.
We
the
can call one
language.
if we need to,
And then if they wanna schedule another one, we will, but at that point, we're probably just gonna bring it to a meeting. I'm not saying we can't have another one, but per se to have one, a workshop that's scheduled.
Just fall in, what he's talking about, the exempting up to 5,000 or whatever, would that fall in with the zoning stuff that we're taking
Well,
Brandon to bring back?
What we can do, we do have a meeting, with, Mr. Norfleet coming up about zoning and clustering, so, but we can have a combined workshop. We could have that on it, that we can get that information, and then we could have both of them. We could have a combined workshop with both of them, if we wanted to, yeah.
Well, if the board allow me to, I'll work with Gene, Bobby, whoever I need to work with. I'll do a little research. I'll find out and try to get some answers to the questions, and maybe we can come up with a recommendation.
I can give you a number of a gentleman that can answer almost every one of your questions on that. I've talked with him before.
We do have one of the inspectors that works with Columbia County building the house in the back of Spring Ridge, so he'll have a good insight on it, and I don't know, I think their building official's name is Troy, I haven't met him, but, we can reach out and see how they do it and how it's working for them. I'm not for it because I know what kind of problems it leads to, and Jennifer, it's gonna make a lot more headaches for her. If we was to do it and set a per square foot, so that everybody can say this is under $5,000, that's a good start. The unlicensed stuff, I don't know how you're gonna police that. I mean, I get them still on several times a month. Everybody walks in, they read every one of them lines, they initial it, they sign it at the bottom, walk out the door and go hire somebody unlicensed to do it. So sometimes I find out, sometimes I don't, but that's,
Gene, I think it would help if you could list the advantages or disadvantages as you see it, and Tommy, I guess, is gonna work with you and Bobby to figure that out, to bring it back to us, and we can look at that. I think
and back to
Mr. Thomas down there has something to say.
Yeah, I'm ready to make a motion and go ahead. We can work out and find somebody to help Gene at the building department.
We'll make that motion and I'll second it.
What's the motion?
And I'll
Okay.
second it.
The business before the board was, the county administrator had, proposed a position reclassification, can't talk. So, the motion on the, right now from Commissioner Thomas is that we reclassify this position for the building department. And we have a second by Commissioner Bill Martin.
Yeah, he gets to be a licensed building official.
Yes, it will be.
Yes.
I think what we were talking about with the sheds and stuff, I think we kind of got off track of what we're looking for Gene.
Right.
Yeah.
Yeah.
Well,
We did, we got off track. I agree with what he's
This
saying.
is
I'd
all
like to
for
find
Friday.
ways to make it easier, but we need to take care of the building
On
and.
Fridays to do inspections also.
Yeah.
That's one of my biggest complaints. Somebody comes to the building department, Gene ain't there to answer questions. I'll be really not qualified to answer questions, and that's where a lot of trouble comes from.
Yeah.
You get somebody there, and like I said, it's no fault of the lady,
No,
you know? So,
no, I agree with this. I agree with the proposal. I'm not against that at all.
So it's not gonna cost any more. We're gonna have somebody on Fridays be able to go out and do inspections, and then we'll have somebody to answer questions.
Somebody will always be in the office to answer questions.
Do you have any applications?
But no, we gotta get the position reclassified before we go.
Advertise.
Now-
You don't have anybody that wants to move up or anything?
Sir,
You don't have anybody?
we don't have anybody licensed for that, and we wanna try to hire somebody licensed.
It's probably gonna be somebody entry level or somebody retired, I would think.
Yeah, and that's, you're pretty much, for that salary, that's about right, and we can put it out there and hope to get it. That's what we're looking for, is a residential inspector, so you have to have building, plumbing, mechanical, electric, gas, all for residential, and that's over 90% of what we do. That would take care of mobile homes and houses. If we are fortunate enough to get somebody that's also got commercial stuff, or plan review or something else, then we could bring them in higher on the pay range, and it's probably gonna be somebody just starting out or somebody that's about to retire, but that's it. If they got the license, that's half the battle. I can spend a few days with them, make sure we're all on the same page, and then turn them a lease. It will, so on Friday, you would have Tanya and the inspector would be your two people. As long as both of them there, he would be in the field, he would be at the office. If one of them has to be out, then we would use Universal on that day, just like we do now. We're still using Universal for, generators until I can get some more training with Jed on the plan review on that. He's doing the plan review. We use them a little bit like, the solar field they just put in at the dairy, a private solar field, but it's still things we're gonna need them for, but it'll cut that way down. It'll provide the service on Friday that we don't have. It'll have, most of the time it'll be me. I plan on me being there doing plan review and helping out front. I'll be able, I ain't had time the whole time I've been here to learn how to issue a permit because I'm not in there. If I'm in there, I'm doing plan review. But I wanna be able to do that in case I'm the only one that's there.
Now would Universal be still available like on a Saturday or Sunday?
They
Hire them to do that?
They can hire Universal whenever. If it's Monday, if it's our regular work days, which normally is Monday through Thursday, and I can't make it, we pay Universal. We have them on retainer. But if you wanted to hire them to do anything, from start to finish, or just a Saturday inspection or whatever, if they got somebody available, they'll still do that. It's just anything outside of work hours the customer would pay.
Are you doing the Dollar General up there?
I ain't done nothing in a long time. They hit a roadblock when they got to their fire pump building. You're talking about the one out on 47. So I don't know where they're at. They had to redesign that. They brought me a new design. They had something else that they was having problems with the sprinkler pipe sizing coming out of that building.
Yeah, they had a septic tank issue, and then now I understand it's a fire suppression issue, and they moved the date back to the middle of April, so I guess they're working on it. I didn't know if you.
Yeah, I haven't been in a while. They did get me plans for that. I don't think they started that little fire pump building yet.
But will you give them the final inspection? You will?
Well, I will, and Jimmy will do the fire side of it. We use Gilchrist County for the fire side of it. And I just wanted to kind of relate this to the situation we had years back at the fire department in Keithland. So we had an administrative assistant position, and she was in the office helping the chief, but we didn't have enough people in the seat out in the field. So when that position went up, we done the same thing. We put a certified firefighter in that position, and the captains kind of split up the administrative stuff between them, but it gives you somebody else to run calls. It just operates more efficiently. A little more money, it gives you better service.
Gene, how does the Universal contract, we have a flat contract per year, or,
No, they're just basically on a retainer. I think it's hourly.
We don't even pay them a retainer. It's just an hourly amount as we use them.
So, yeah,
how much do we budget each year for that? That's where you got the 14 or 20,000 or whatever?
I'd have to go back to look to just see what we did, but we probably budgeted somewhere around 20 to 25, if I'm remembering correctly, based on the previous years.
Okay. So at the end of next year, we'll be able to go back and look, and they'll be, if permits stay the same, it'll basically be down.
You would move your budgeting to another line is what you would do from that line.
Okay, we have a motion on the floor. Is there any more discussion?
Yes, sir, Mr. Chair. I just wanted to make the comment, my only concern with this is that, when we did our budget, we didn't put this in our budget last year. And, I just think it's not a good policy for us to do that mid-year. I don't have an issue with, we've had conversations about the position. I do think, it is an increase in cost, first of all. I think we're going to be able to do it within the building department budget. So I don't think it's going to require a budget amendment. There are some savings that we're going to see, on the universal engineering side. But I just wanted to make the comment, I think as a general rule, we need to be cautious about, like doing major, changes like this outside the budget. Again, believe, based on my conversations and just looking at our expenses and everything, that we're gonna be able to do this within the budget for community development. But again, just a word of caution, that,
Yeah. Don't wanna open up a can of worms.
right, in the future, I mean, I think these are good conversations for us to have as we're, preparing for the next year's budget. So just wanted to kind of throw my 2 cents in on that, but.
Bobby, if we hired just a regular person, what would that salary be? No qualifications as far as.
Around probably just the base salary, somewhere 35 to 40.
Be defeating the purpose of it.
Yeah.
I know, I'm not saying that,
Yeah.
I'm just looking at the increase.
I agree with what Mr. Newton's saying. I just know that a lot of the problems we have had have been because we don't have a qualified person in the office to answer their questions. And they went into the office and they told them this, and I went home and did this, and now you're not passing me. They're getting the wrong information, and again, I'm not trying to throw anybody under the bus, but I just think it will behoove us and add a better service to the people if we have someone who's qualified to answer those questions,
Oh,
so
yeah.
that these don't come back to bite us. Why I'm for having this position.
And this just came vacant 3 weeks ago, and, unfortunately, our budget, is not right now. If it was, that would be better, but this is something that while we have the opportunity, since it's vacant, we can go ahead and, make it better for the citizens and.
Exactly.
Like I said, I'm all for it. I would certainly proceed with caution, like Todd said, and not doing this on a regular basis or nothing, and we haven't done it. But yeah, I went through all this with my grandson. So, I could write a book about that, about some of the things that I incurred, and I wasn't blaming anybody, it's just the way things turned out, the way they went. It was frustrating, I'll be honest with you. But, maybe this will help resolve some of that. I hope it will. And it'll help Gene, for sure, and it'll give people better service simply for the fact that they'll have a qualified person to instruct them. And that's, to me, going in the right direction, is having the right person in the right position. Any more discussion? Hearing none, all in favor say aye.
Aye.
All opposed, same sign. Thank you. I'll get with you, Gene.
Thank you, Mr. James.
Thank you.
The next item I have is under general. We're requested each year to do a hazardous material proclamation. The proclamation is for the Hazardous Material Awareness Week, which is February the 24th, 2025 through March the 2nd, 2025. We just need approval for the proclamation.
May I make a motion, we approve the proclamation for Hazardous Material Awareness Week?
Second.
I have a motion by Commissioner Smith and a second by Commissioner Sharon Linkford to approve the proclamation for Hazardous Materials Awareness Week, February the 24th, 2025 through March the 2nd of 2025.
Yeah, is there anything else we do to make people aware other than this? No.
Well, throughout the year we have the hazardous waste roundup and we put out stuff, so, this particular week is set aside for that, but yes, throughout the year we do have that. We do have different times, for different types of hazardous waste.
Yeah, I know, I took some stuff up when they had that up at Bell and Bobby Rush and the group and the others from Malaca County, wherever they would come from, they had it very well organized and did a
Yeah, they do.
good job. We appreciate it.
And I told Bobby how much we appreciate him doing that, because that's, where do you get rid of that stuff? We don't want it to wind up in the trash or in the woods or nothing like that, so I really appreciate them doing stuff like, it gives you an opportunity to get rid of your stuff that you couldn't otherwise do. Yeah. And it was well organized, it went real smooth. Okay, any more discussion? All in favor of the motion? Say aye. Aye. All opposed, same sign. Motion.
I had a request, from some citizens for a special assessment on Southeast 41st Way, and I apologize, I didn't put a map in there, but I will tell you where it is, and I think most of y'all know. If you go to, the park at Waters Lake, when you get to the park, you can turn and go back to the west, which will be a right. That road turns into dirt and it comes back around and then hooks to another section of pavement. They've asked that if we would see what it would cost for a special assessment. This is the very, very first step. It's just y'all give me permission or say it's okay to proceed with getting some costs and all for that and
This
bring
is
back
gonna be
to
for pavement, not chip and seal.
We don't know yet. They've actually asked to look at both because they were familiar with chip and seal.
What did we use,
We used, milling.
milling, so this is
Yeah.
not gonna be milling?
No,
Okay.
no.
I was making sure we don't use the same thing we use.
If we do that, we'll do it for free.
Okay.
We ain't got to worry about all that, but,
We may never
but no,
do
ma'am.
I don't
even know
wanna
if I
make that
know. It won't
mistake
never be
again.
free.
I don't
No,
wanna-
ma'am. They did, they had heard us talk about the chip and seal, and one of them was familiar with it because they had a grandfather who had did a lot of older roads years ago, which was a slag road, chip and seal. And they've asked for the pricing on that as well. So I thought we would
Okay.
provide them both pricing.
Yeah.
Yeah.
How long do you think it is, Bobby?
Yeah, half mile, maybe three-quarter mile at the most.
And that would be paved in place, of course.
Yes, sir, yes, sir.
How many houses would be involved? Any idea? No, don't look at that, just, I thought you'd guess,
Well, I can guess.
a reasonable guess.
I think there's 12, 10 or 12.
Probably 10 to 15.
Okay.
I got the wrong folder. 10 or 12, yeah. It's pretty,
Trying to keep you on your toes.
I got the whole packet right here. I know how my attorney is. I'm usually, bringing all the stuff with me.
Well, I move to approve the request to get estimates on paving southeast 41st Way with the, assessment.
Have a motion by Commissioner Bill Martin and a second by Commissioner Thomas to approve the request to move forward with a special assessment on Southeast 41st Way. Any
Now, that's-
discussion?
Now, let me just add, that's just to, you're gonna try to get some pricing first.
We'll get
and
the
then
estimates and then we
and then we'll
send out a letter.
We'll put together our template and follow that process.
Yep. Yes, sir.
Okay.
And you'll get-
14 house, he says there's 14 houses.
14 out, and you'll get a process on chip and seal and hot mix asphalt? Okay. Okay, any more discussion? Hearing none, all in favor say aye.
Aye.
All opposed, same sign. Motion passed.
The next is we have a letter from the Swanee River Economic Council. As y'all know, you have already by general consensus, Mr. Tommy Langford is, the representative for the Swanee River Economic Council. However, the Florida Department of Commerce requires him to be confirmed by a vote. We've had to do this before in the past, so we just need someone to make a motion, to allow him to continue with the Swanee River Economic Council, and then the board, vote on it.
Motion to allow, Commissioner Tommy Langford to continue to serve as the board representation for Swanee River Economic Council.
Second.
Okay. I have a motion by Commissioner Sharon Langford and a second by Commissioner Smith to approve me as the representative for the Swanee River Economic Council. We had a meeting last Wednesday. They're great people to work with, work for. Matt Pearson is, one of them, and Lynn Godfrey's the other, and they have several other members. We have a hard time having a meeting sometimes. We only requires 2 to be present, and the rest of them can be on, Zoom calls, so that's usually what we have. We had 2 Wednesday, and then we had the rest of them on Zoom call, but, it's a good service. We do they do a lot of reports, and, I told them at the meeting the other day, the amount of work they do, all the counties they represent, all the people they transport, working with the public, they have 0 complaints. I said, if you serve the public, you have 0 complaints, you're doing a good job. But anyway, I'll be glad to serve on it. So any more discussion? Hearing none, all in favor say aye.
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 All opposed, same sign.
I would like to comment on that. That's one of the best things this board ever did, was take it out of house and, I mean, take it away from being in-house and put it out of house with Stephanie Barrington, who I worked with for years.
Yep.
She's tops in her field.
She was at the meeting the other day. Matt was on Zoom
I
call.
think
but
she keeps Matt straight, to be honest with you.
They're great people. They do a good service, and like I said, if you can run a service like that with 0 complaints, you're doing a fantastic job.
You're fixing to see some of the results here on this plan.
Yeah, the next item that we have is our LHAP. It's the time, the LHAP is good for 3 years, and we need to, that's our SHIP Local Housing Assistance Plan. This is for years 25, 26, 26, 27, 27, 28. This is exactly like the one, our previous one, except for one change. We have what we call emergency repairs it has been at the amount of 7,500 for a number of years. And of course, with the inflation rates and all, it's just not enough any longer. So, I spoke with Miss Stephanie Barrington, and her and I discussed what a lot of other places are doing, and we felt like a good number based on, we're a little lower than some communities, we're more than one or two, but felt like the need they had been seeing in Gilchrist County, that $18,000 for emergency repairs was good. Because if you think about it today, if a septic tank goes out, it's hard to even get it done for 7,500. If an air conditioner goes out, if you need a major roof repair, none of that can be done within that. So that would be the only change. So with that, if you are willing to pass the new contract, and she has actually submitted the request for change to the 18,000 to the state, and they have tentatively approved it based on the board's approval, agreeing with it.
Don't we have to pass a resolution on this to approve?
You know what, there is a
There is one
resolution here,
attached.
I apologize, let me
Yeah,
find
that's
that resolution, I meant to pull it out of here. Thank you. Let me find it.
Yeah, the resolution would be approving it for those years.
Yes.
25 through 28.
Did we get a resolution number on that?
It's in
It's
the
in,
package.
it's in their copy, what's the resolution number? 2025-08.
2025-08. I move to approve the, HLHAP.
Let me read the resolution, the
All
title
right, read
to
the
the resolution
resolution.
real quick, if you
Not
don't
there,
mind.
do that.
A resolution number 2025-08, a resolution of the Board of County Commissioners of Gilchrist County, Florida, approving the local housing assistance plan as required by the State House Initiatives Partnership Program Act, subsection 420.907, subsection 420.907 through subsection 420.9079, Florida statutes, and Rule Chapter 67 through 67-37, Florida Administrative Code, authorizing and directing the chairman to execute any necessary documents and certifications needed by the state, authorizing the submission of the local housing assistance plan for review and approval by the Florida Housing Finance Corporation and providing an effective date.
Forgot the number.
2025-08.
So moved.
Okay, I have a motion by Commissioner Bill Martin and a second by Commissioner Thomas to approve resolution number 2025-08. Any discussion? Bobby, does that resolution, you read just the resolution itself, does that include the increase from the?
Yes, sir. By passing that resolution, you'll pass this entire package.
It'll.
And that is in this package.
Okay,
Yes, sir.
everything will be covered. Okay, any more discussion? Hearing none, all in favor say aye.
Aye.
All opposed, same sign. Motion
The last thing I have, I think y'all may have all seen it, but I'll bring it out here just so in case. Remember, this is the sign that y'all approved.
beautiful.
Good.
Y'all good with that?
Oh, that looks real good.
Absolutely.
Yeah. Oh, my goodness. That looks good.
You better attach it.
So is
real
that the
well.
one we're gonna hang up then, Mr. Crosby? Or this is just the, that looks real good.
Just like that.
Do we need to put the space in between the J and the M?
Oh, yeah. Oh, we
No.
don't.
Todd, he already explained that.
I have a question with the, complex, with the X, do we need to, is there gonna be enough room to build the frame? I mean,
This is the design.
I know that, so the other one will be a little bit more room right there, okay. It looks real good.
Did the,
They did a good job.
looks good.
That makes a pretty political sign.
Vote Thomas
Thank
on
you.
the back.
I said it wouldn't. We don't make.
Yeah, that looks real good.
It
Heck,
does.
yeah.
No pictures, please.
Unless you have any questions, that, is all of my report, and I apologize, Todd nor Duke gave me the memo that we weren't supposed to put anything on the agenda.
Okay? No,
Not really, but I do I want to give just a
For your information.
point of information.
yeah.
Thank you, Bill. Exactly. Y'all directed me to write a letter on behalf of the Board of County Commissioners regarding our PRM membership and our insurance policies, which I did. And I got a response, a call back today from the Assistant Attorney General in Tallahassee, said to inform the board he appreciated us writing the letter, that they had been in contact with PRM's attorneys, I think it's Roper and Roper, and that he would keep us informed, and if we had any comments or objections or claims or needed something, he gave me his personal direct line to give him a call, but to tell the board that they were on top of it. Okay?
Good.
okay, that's it.
Yeah, you'll recall that Assured Partners they're trying to acquire them by this huge group called Gallagher and Company. And that's what the concern was from PRM, that our rates may go up or be non-existent if it was monopoly.
This is not pertaining to that, but it does pertain to, attorneys. What is the status of the dairies and the permits going on there? Have you heard anything lately?
We have been in a series of Zoom conferences, Mr. Crosby and myself. I know we've had two, and I think we may have one. Is the one tomorrow about the dairy or the one tomorrow about the Jenny Springs? Jenny Springs tomorrow. They are finalizing their reviews on those for us to begin the process of presenting them to the board, from my understanding. So that's the status of it. They were quite in depth, and you'll be shocked when you see how voluminous each one of those applications are.
Sure they are.
Exactly. Yeah, you're not gonna be our friend when you start looking at all those.
Yeah.
And speaking of insurance, I heard the governor announce this week that automobile insurance is coming down by 5 to 8% in the state of Florida.
That's what he's claiming.
And health insurance is coming down, and he also said there's 11 new companies that's coming to the state to write insurance. We had people moving out because of the hurricane and the insurance loss and all that, but, I guess he's, got them talking, coming back and doing some stuff, so that'd be good for the state of Florida. Be good for us.
Sure will.
Okay, Mr. Clerk?
He also said something about giving the sheriff department and fire department a raise.
Now, I thought that was just, state is what I read.
That was a statement.
Yeah.
Handling, for handling the immigrants, illegal immigrants. Mr. Todd?
And I've got nothing today, sir.
Nothing to do. Okay, we will start our commissioner reports then.
Yeah, start with me.
Yeah.
Yeah, I got an email, Mr. Dom's emailed me thanking the road department for, what a wonderful job they did out at Southeast, 97th Trail. Just appreciated what they did, fixing the road. I know we don't get a lot of emails with positive things, so I thought I wanted to pull it up.
Who is that, Mr. Who?
That the road is right.
Dom's,
Dom.
DAH.
No, sir, this was, 97th Trail. I'll forward that to you, Mr. Crosby,
Okay,
that way
thank
you
you.
can have it. But I know a lot of times we do not get thank you, and, when we get an email, I just want to share it with y'all. And then the other thing, Mr. Crosby and I, we met with Phyllis, who is the Chief Executive Officer for Career Source. And, they are looking, to rent a place in Gilchrist County so they can start serving the citizens in Gilchrist County, so they do not have to drive to Old Town or to, Columbia County. We had a really, good meeting, I thought. And, they're willing to help us in any way, help people find jobs, help help people do what they need to do in order to get a job in Gilchrist County. So I thought that meeting went good, and I think, Rhoda, our librarian, was gonna meet with them also, to see if there's things that, classes they could offer, how we have classes there to help our citizens, but, I think overall it went pretty good.
That's what we pointed out to them when we were negotiating that
Yeah.
merger, when they were doing back. Get us an office here in Trenton where people didn't have to leave because we didn't have the facilities and the money to go to Old Town.
Mhm.
You got to give them something here.
And she said when they did have the office, they used to have it at the Wilson place. She said it was, busy all the time, and, so she said.
called Florida Crown?
It's called Career Source now, Career Source,
Florida Crown Career.
Okay.
Still
It's-
has that.
Career
under-
Source.
Under the
something.
auspices of Florida Commerce.
It is, Career Source, North Central Florida. So that's the name. But I thought it was a good meeting overall.
Anything else?
Good.
You mentioned, the legislature and the governor, and I know they came together related to the immigration uh, issue and passed some bills, and, it's gonna be a lot stronger here in the state, supporting the president's, initiative, and, talking to the sheriff earlier, he's not sure how exactly it will affect him and us in the jail, but, hopefully that, we'll get, I think we're gonna get support from the state level. I'm sure we will. And so he'll evaluate that and let us know. The other thing, Chris Doolin, with the Small County Coalitions, sending updates, and we're all getting those. But, one of the things that he asked for information on is there's a proposal to increase sovereign immunity limits, which could affect us and how much we pay for our liability insurance. And so I know Bobby and, Todd, we're working on getting some information back to them, related to that. And, there's some legislative updates coming up later in the week or two, and so maybe we'll hear more about what's going on. I know Bobby, I think you mentioned we haven't really heard as far as our legislative budget requests, other than it's been positive so far.
It's been positive for, they have reached out and asked a couple of questions, pertaining to it. And, so that's positive.
All right. If anybody knows, the Senate President or the, House Speaker or any of those folks in leadership, put out a good word for our appropriations request, 'cause we'll need that. What about the 100th year? Anything going on coming up?
The next thing I know coming up, and which is really part of the, chamber, so Mr. Newton might speak on it a little bit more than I can, is the, Quilt Fest.
Mhm.
So, and it's March sometime. When is it in March, offhand?
It is,
I know that, Matthew Harold does a good job of putting things in his newspaper, and we appreciate that, because we were able to see weekly what kind of things are coming up as well.
15th or
Thank you.
22nd, I'm not sure which.
yeah, I believe it's March 15th.
Okay.
Is it the 22nd? It's the 22nd.
Okay, thank you.
Yeah, been pretty quiet, with phone calls and such. Bobby and I and the rest of our group are going to meet with Tom's Medical and the doctor out of Gainesville, Shands, on the 24th, to see if we can, take advantage of his services and what Tom's might be able to do to work with them. And other than that, y'all asked the same questions I did, what was coming up with the next thing, and Quilting Festival, and I also want to know, what is one of the roads that we've run the zipper on, so I could go out and inspect what kind of job it's doing?
Southeast 80th,
80th, southeast?
Street,
It's,
Street.
it's the one that runs east and west that comes out by the Weeks Flea Market.
Oh, okay.
You wrote it, Karen?
Good. Mhm.
You wrote it?
Yes, sir, I've been satisfied. Mhm.
Okay.
We got accused of making it a speedway.
Oh, okay. Well, that's what I always tell
I've gotten
people.
compliments on that road
You,
too.
you want us to pave it, and then after we pave it, you want us to slow everybody down on it, but.
The person who said that was really nice about it. They said, the road's really great, but now it's gonna be a speedway. I know what's gonna happen.
All right, other than that, I didn't have anything else. Thank you.
Commissioner Thomas?
I don't have.
I don't really have anything. I'll remind everybody, the chamber banquet is tomorrow night at Seven Hills. Tickets are still available, I think, so if you'd like to go, that'll be out at Seven Hills. I think it starts at 6:00. And I've already, updated you on the Dollar General out there. It was supposed to be the middle of this month, but I stopped and talked to them, and the landscapers is out there. Y'all need to look at that.
Looking good.
They did,
I saw
they did a great job. I mean, they got cedar trees head high out there. The buffer is excellent. I've never seen one like it. It's really nice. They're gonna grass it. They've already grassed part of it, and they're gonna seed the rest of it, but, got the parking lot done. Everything looks good. It looks like me they could open, but apparently they have some type of, issue with their, fire suppression tank there. And, as soon as they get that resolved, the guy told me that they had moved it back to the middle of April. But I'm telling you, people are chomping at the bit to get it open. I get asked every day.
I did have one other thing that I just remembered. Hamp Smith out there by Hart Springs, were they able to get to that big, huge tree that was, they got to it?
That root ball?
Yeah,
Yes, sir.
okay, I wasn't sure if they'd gotten to it yet or not, but I had several phone calls before that happened, so I'm glad that was taken out. That was a heck of a trunk of tree out there. No, nobody wanted to mess with it, cause it had to be whittled down, I'm sure.
I think they wound up taking a traco out there and getting it.
Okay, okay.
And Spring Ridge is looking good. They working on a lot of driveways, got most of them done now, and turning out real good. I don't have anything else, that I can think of, so, we'll turn to public participation. Is there anybody want to speak to the board before we go home? Thank y'all for coming. I'll entertain a motion that we adjourn.
I move we adjourn.
Okay, second?